This is what happens when you spend too many hours on a road in one day.
We've been driving for 9 days straight, well over 3,000 miles from San Diego, California to the border with Alaska on the Yukon Highway. So if you look this way, that is the Yukon border, Canada. And right ahead, folks, is Alaska. This is the famous Klondike paddle wheel boat.
These are caribou, and I guess you can call them reindeer because they've been domesticated.
It's a
The 60th parallel Alcan Highway. This is Watson Lake. This is where we are. We've come from way down here off of the map, and we are headed this way back to Alaska. This is the border of British Columbia and the Yukon Territory of Alaska. Very interesting. It tells the story of the Alaska Highway, 1942, 10,000 American troops and 6,000 civilians built this road, 1,700 miles between Dawson Creek, BC and Delta Junction, Alaska, which is just outside of Fairbanks. And they built it for military use originally. This is what happens in the middle of the winter. Minus 40 Celsius is, I don't know, something about maybe 10 or 20 below zero Fahrenheit. So what happens when you throw water into the air when it's that cold. And this is what it's like out here in the winter. And this is a fantastic map. It shows you, gives you an idea of where we are right now. We're somewhere right here, and we're going to Alaska that's over here. It gives you an idea of what else is on the 60th parallel. It would be equivalent to living in Norway or Finland or northern Russia. Until about 50 years ago, this was absolutely the last frontier, or still the wild western frontier of the Great North. You can see these men from that era, 1800s, 1887 to be exact. Yukon Territory is a famous area for trapping. It's all part of this adventure with Living My Alaska. These are wild bison hanging out on the side of the Alaskan Highway. You can see the big bull right there at the front of the herd nearest us. He has a big collar around his neck. I'm sure that's a tracking collar. And some small cows. Some little babies down there on the end to the right. 234 miles from Whitehorse, Yukon Territory. Welcome to the Caribou RV Park, just outside Whitehorse, Yukon Territory. This is our home for tonight. It's supposed to have a great restaurant here and some good fun things to do. Tomorrow back into Alaska. We're here at the Yukon River in Whitehorse, and we're going to see a historic paddle wheel from the early 1900s in the gold rush. Let's check this out. This is lovely.
It is.
This is the famous Klondike paddle wheel boat that hauled men and supplies and miners up the Yukon River for the gold rush in the early 1900s. 210 feet long, built out of wood. Klondike 2 was the crowning achievement of the riverboat design, British Columbia. Powerful and large enough to carry heavy loads without the need to push a barge. 1937. 75 passengers, 2 steam engines. Wow. 23 crew members.
It would go between Whitehorse and Dawson City.
Whitehorse and Dawson City. It's Dawson City there. Whitehorse is down here, and I'm pretty sure this is the path of the mighty Yukon River back through Alaska and out to the Arctic Ocean. We're headed into the Yukon Visitor Center in the historic town of Whitehorse. And this one looks like it's impressive. It's big. Oh, I love this.
Look, Watson Lake, we were there.
Yeah, so this is the Alaska Highway down here.
So we started over in Fort Nelson.
Yeah, that's
and
the
then we drove
Laird Hot Springs,
to
Watson Lake.
And then we came this way. And we were in the Whitehorse.
This is where we are today.
Yep.
Whitehorse, and then
we're going to
go over to Haines Junction.
And then we're going to end over here.
Tonight's destination is Tok, Alaska. It's a beautiful map. All right, let's go inside. Oh wow, look at this. This is fantastic.
I'm not it's supposed to be interactive some way.
So I guess you press it and it lights up. Yeah, look, Skagway, Alaska, and the little light down there. Oh my gosh,
So
that's
here's
awesome.
Alaska Highway.
Which, oh, it lights up the whole thing.
The red, you see? The lights kind of.
That's fantastic. Is it the entire highway? No, this is just the Yukon part, I think. Yeah. It stops. Dawson Creek would be way down there. Muncho Lake, Watson Lake, Alaska Highway, all the way.
That's cool.
Yes, it is. So that is Tuktoyaktuk, way up there at the end of that red stripe. That's where people like to go. It's kind of the like Prudhoe Bay destination, but in Canada. Oh, that's a brown bear. Okay, we're back on the road. We're headed out of the beautiful town of Whitehorse in the Yukon Territory. Next stop is Tok, Alaska. We won't be there until, I don't know, 6 or 7 o'clock tonight. And I think we will make it home to central Alaska tomorrow. This is one of the last towns before we hit the Alaskan border. This is the cute little town of Haines Junction. It's 12 noon. We got some stops to make, get some food to eat, and refuel with gasoline. This is called Destruction Bay, about 1 hour west of Haines Junction in the Yukon Territory. We are about 4 hours from our destination in Tok, Alaska. About 2 hours from the Alcan border, where we cross back into the United States.
It's a wild life in the Great Lakes. The husband and wife on the homestead. There's nothing mild.
Parts of Alaska and Canada like this, in the winter the ground freezes and then it heaves upward, and in the springtime it will move, and it may expand or it may shrink or it may just collapse and make a hole in the road. But it makes for some very slow going and some very rough going in parts of this area, and it's famous. This area is famous for frost heaves, and that's what a frost heave looks like, ladies and gentlemen, right here. And right now they're not too bad. In the springtime and early summer, these things can absolutely destroy your vehicle. One of the reasons we bought this van is for this kind of road. These kind of roads are very typical in our state of Alaska, and I'm really pleased to see how so far this van has handled these roads. It has big tough tires, very heavy duty suspension. Okay everyone, this is a major milestone, and this is something I've been waiting for 9 days now. Right behind us is the Alaskan border, and our new van behind that. We've been driving for 9 days straight, well over 3,000 miles. From San Diego, California to the border with Alaska on the Alcan Highway. So if you look this way, that is the Yukon border, Canada. And right ahead, folks, is Alaska, our home state. And our home is another day away. This is Alaska, this is Canada. And right ahead, right there, is the international boundary mark for Alaska that way, Canada this way, United States. Treaty of 1925, which establishes this border, and Canada. Fantastic. This map helps tell the story of what we've done today. We took the Alaskan Highway from this way to Haines Junction, and we've traveled all this way. This giant lake, very scenic, some extremely rough patches of road through here, through the little town of Beaver Creek, and the Alaska-Yukon border. We're headed this way into Alaska. Back in Alaska, we're excited to be here.
Welcome home.
Welcome home. This is a great map, tells the story of the public lands. This is Alaska, Yukon Territory. Down here would be the rest of the United States. We are right here. And tonight we're going to Tok, Alaska, and then down towards Anchorage in central Alaska to our home. About another hour to Tok tonight, and then another day of driving, about another 6 hours home to central Alaska tomorrow. Some of the wild animals you might see on an Alcan trip. We've seen grizzly, caribou, no moose. Okay, you guys, this is it. made it to Tok, Alaska. 3,400 miles from Southern California, San Diego to be exact. Tonight, we're going to go somewhere we haven't seen or been to in a decade, and that is the Roadhouse called Fast Eddie's in Tok, Alaska. And this is going to be our home for tonight.
Fast Eddie's.
Wow, it's busy tonight. Fast Eddie's. Gosh, can you believe it? Last time we came through here it was -20 and deep snow on the road. We just need to find a place to park.
This is what happens when you spend too many hours on a road in one day. Giant rack of ribs, fried mushrooms, onion rings, burger at the Fast Eddie's Roadhouse in Tok, Alaska.
This was our Airbnb for the evening. We wanted to get out of the van, stretch out, have good showers. And today we're headed home to our home in Alaska, about 6 hours from Tok. It's going to be quite the drive. We've been on the road for, I think, 11 days, maybe 12. I've lost count. And it's a beautiful, crisp morning. It's in the upper 30s temperatures right now. I have something to show you here. This place is called Caribou Cabins, and they've got some caribou. Beautiful, big reindeer. Hello, Mr. Caribous. They are beautiful. Look how pretty. When they're domesticated like this, they are called reindeer, but these are caribou. And I guess you could call them reindeer because they've been domesticated, but they're beautiful. And I think these are both males with these big antlers like this. Are they pretty? I know. Look at the big, beautiful antlers on those things. They are pretty. You could tell they're quite tame. He's looking at us like, what are you going to feed us? We're headed over to Fast Eddie's Roadhouse in Tok, Alaska for breakfast this morning. We're hungry and we're ready to get on the road.
Finally back in Alaska in the United States. Very happy to be here. We are headed to our home, which is about 7 hours away, and we're looking forward to it. Right, honey?
It's been an amazing adventure. Almost 4,000 miles. 12 days of constant traveling in our new to us camper van. We flew down to San Diego almost 2 weeks ago and purchased this van. And we drove it from San Diego, California, up through California, through Oregon, through Washington State, through the British Columbia area of Canada, and then the massive and beautiful Yukon territory of Canada. And now we're headed, we made it back into Alaska last night. And after a good night's sleep and some breakfast at Fast Eddie's, a famous roadhouse in Tok, Alaska, we're headed down near Anchorage. We've got about 7 hours ahead of us back to our home. And we have some amazing things to show you. This is not the end of the trip. There's a lot of excitement, and even today, because we're going to drive through some beautiful scenery. It's a very remote part of Alaska, and then we're going to pop out on a highway that drives right next to a massive glacier and some of the prettiest sights in Alaska. There's a family of swans living in this pond up here. We'll do our best to capture it for you. That is so pretty. Those aren't, what are those? Are swans? And that's a goose and some swans. The gray one is some sort of a goose. I can't remember what type that is. And then some ducks with them.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's pretty. The town of Glen Allen. Glen Allen is a small little town in central Alaska, but it's notable because it's sort of a hub. If you go east of this, then you head over to Valdez and the Wrangell St. Elias forest and all points that way. If you go west from here, then you head up west-north, you head up to Fairbanks. And if you go south from here, you'll head to the big city of Anchorage and Kenai Peninsula and all points south of here. So this is a popular little spot. And this is our stop as we are headed down Anchorage way today. We're going to Anchorage because our car is at the airport and we've got to pick up our car before we head home to the backcountry. And so we have another busy day ahead of us, several hours of driving. We won't be home until this evening. But we just thought we'd share with you exactly where we are. And this is a busy little place. It seems like everybody who visits Alaska comes through Glen Allen. And I think we have, what? Oh, let's see, 4 hours. 3 to 4 hours ahead of us. Glen Allen to Anchorage. Very popular scenic spot. Panoramic views will be great. That to the left of us is the amazingly beautiful Matanuska Glacier. Massive and really beautiful. I've made a full loop now. I've closed up that loop because I left my home, drove to the airport in Anchorage, got on an airplane, flew to San Diego, bought this camper van, spent 4,000 miles in 11 days driving his camper van back to Alaska, back to the airport. My wife is driving the car home, and I'm in the van. And we're headed to the backcountry of Alaska to our home. This is the stop that we've been looking forward to for almost 4,000 miles in the last 11 days. It's our favorite burger and ice cream place, and it's a little store called Miller's on the outskirts of Wasilla, Alaska. And after this very, very long trip from California all the way home to our beloved Alaska, we're celebrating with some ice cream and a delicious cheeseburger. Well, we are home. This is the gravel road leading to our house in the backcountry of Alaska. And I'm so glad you could join us on this epic adventure to go and buy this camper van in San Diego, California, and drive it 4,000 miles in 11 days back to Alaska. And I'm exhausted and I'm tired, but I'm super excited. It's been extremely rewarding. And I'm so glad you can come along with us. And there'll be many, many more adventures with Living My Alaska in the very near future. Hey, by the way, if you like this video about the van and the van life, we have an entire playlist dedicated just for you and van life living in Alaska with Living My Alaska. And I'll share that playlist with you right now. Go to that playlist now. We have so many more videos about the vans and all of our adventures with Living My Alaska.